Let's meet the visiting team, Los Angeles Lakers. At small forward, Brandon Ingram. At the other forward position, Julius Randle. At shooting guard, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. At the other guard position, Lonzo Ball. At center, Brook Lopez. The head coach of the visiting team is Luke Walton.
Got a capacity crowd in a sold-out arena here in downtown Minneapolis with Greg Anthony, Chris Webber, and David Aldridge, Kevin Harlan. And we have a surprise guest, folks. Here he is, the four-time All-NBA first-teamer, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, which is probably most happy about, most proud of, Kevin Garnett. Thanks so much for joining us for the game.
Man. Thank you for having me, man. Shout out to 2K. You know what it is, 2K. Right. OBF all day, you know? Yeah.
You can't play 2K while we're doing 2K.
No, we can't play it right now, but I'm waiting. Shout to Shaq on this cover. Shout to my dog, Shaq. That's dope. That's what's up. Gas Shaq is on there. Right. Love that. That's what's up. Diesel deserves it, man. That's what's up.
A contest in the West. We'll see if the Timberwolves can please this home crowd. Here are the starters for Los Angeles. The young pair of Ingram and Randle are at the forwards. Ball runs point with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to his side. They're the backcourt. And it's Lopez in at the 5, roaming the paint. And so the Los Angeles Lakers get the first points of the ballgame. The feed to Wiggins. Towns with it. He's picked up by Lopez. Towns, no luck. Kevin, especially back in Minnesota, you have some Hall of Fame battles with a guy named Tim Duncan. Talk about what those games, what those matchups were like.
Timmy's very crafty, man. Our battles used to just, especially as young guys, man. Young guys trying to establish themselves in a gritty league at the time, full of some older, dominant names at the time. Michael Jordan, Olajuwon, Malone. You know, the time where the forward position was a very, very tough position. But Timmy was one of them ones, man. Used angles very well. Was very long. Had a lot of counters. Very strong, and had an inner beast that people really didn't really talk about because you didn't really necessarily hear or see it. But man, Timmy's one of the best, man. It's not by coincidence. He's one of the ones.
Lakers shooting their first free throw of the game right now.
One shot.
That's good from Lopez. And, Kevin, there was such a whirlwind around your trade to the Celtics from the Timberwolves. What were your thoughts and emotions at that time?
You know what? Being in Minnesota at that time, it was very difficult for me. I didn't necessarily want to leave. I had a goal to bring the city a championship, and I felt like I could do that. Nothing worse than when you have to deal with the reality of change. I'm not the one for change, even though I do know in order to process or progress better, you have to embrace some change. So with the help of my friends from Chauncey Billups, Teron Lou, I sat and I thought through it with those guys who had been through the trade process and talking to me, getting me to understand my options. And once I understood all my options, then I just, it was about what was best for me and my family.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider.
Oh, this is the kind of start they were hoping for.
The Timberwolves have gone 0-4, missing their first 4 field goals here. T kicks to Gibson, and it's Gibson finishing it off.
And Teague knew that he would be open there. Great patience and vision from the point man.
And just under 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the first. And, Kev, you had a voice in where you'd go from Minnesota. How did all that play out?
I sat with my wife, and we all kind of went through it, and we thought Boston was the best situation. Paul and I had great bones and great history that I don't think the world really knew. We have been knowing each other since 14, 15. I played with each other younger, and I had a chance to play with Cole, but that really didn't go through. A lot of people don't know I had a chance to play with Steve Nash also, but I wanted to play with Stoudemire, and that wasn't the case. So I decided to go to Boston. Ray and I knew each other from South Carolina. And then, the Rondo piece was a huge piece for me. I had followed the youngster in his first year and just watched his growth a little bit, even though I was in the Western Conference. And then when I got to Boston, I knew they had good pieces like Kendrick Perkins and Tony Allen. I wasn't aware of the big baby piece yet. And then I wasn't sure on the Posey part. And then all of a sudden it started to come together, Eddie House. And then all of this. And,
great names.
Great names. Just all alphas. All guys able to stand up and speak for themselves and be articulate and, all different facets and, very similar facets of who we are personality-wise. And a lot of people just don't know that team there, I don't think another coach could have coached that team other than Doc Rivers.
Some changes for Minnesota. Jang, he's checked in for Gibson. Crawford comes in for Jimmy Butler. And Tyus Jones subbed in for Jeff Teague. Big group substitution here for the Lakers. Zubac is checked in for Lopez. Nance comes in for Randall. Luol Deng is checked in for Brandon Ingram. And it's Clarkson in for Ball. Here are the Lakers. A 14-2 run over the last bit. Hey, Kevin, when you play with Andrew Wiggins, you saw firsthand just how explosive he can be. What impresses you most about where he is right now and where he could go?
Man, Andrew's potential is through the roof. I've told him this countless times that when he wants to, he can. There's nothing that he can't do. It's just about his consistency and how he sees that. I told him, man, the world is his. I've yet to see a player in our league that has the athletic ability that he has, mixed with the IQ and being able to be players on both sides of the ball if he wants to. This kid is super long. He's fast. He's deceptionally fast. I don't think people know how fast he really is. Great shooter, has a great IQ, not a good IQ, a great IQ. I told him, man, I would like to see him with a little more oomph in his step. But if you know Drew, he's laid back. He's super cool. He's smooth with it, and his game reminds you of Steve Smith. And Smitty used to, rock people to sleep. He has a very good patience to his game.
And this quarter, he has clearly been off the mark.
Well, the fans out there watching this, Kev, can you talk about why it's so incredibly difficult to win an NBA title, to become a champion? Why is that such a tough process?
Well, just imagine having a goal and you're not pursuing the goal by yourself. Say you and somebody else.
Relying on somebody else.
Relying on somebody else, okay? So let's just say you and someone are doing something, walking up a hill. Y'all getting ready to go walk up a hill. Well, the speed at which you want to walk at might be different from the other person. And what you realize about when you're trying to reach any goal is that you have to be connected. You have to be understanding of we're going to walk up it together like at this speed, like this, or we're going fast, we're going slow. It has to be a great level of communication and understanding. At the same time, you have to have the same work ethic because you have to understand you're together. And you don't get to go at this level and leave someone behind. You have to actually, if you got to pull them, you got to keep up, whatever it is. All this goes into trying to win.
It sure does. That's right. Towns, no luck.
And typically he has the touch to finish when he's in tight, but not sure on that possession.
Los Angeles with another miss.
And the stroke definitely lacking confidence this quarter. Nothing on target.
And he got the whistle, so he'll have a three-point play opportunity.
Absolutely fearless. I mean, a nice subtle adjustment there going up against Wynn.
Well, this is just another case where being aggressive wins out.
Minnesota making a switch here. Muhammad's checked in, and Los Angeles making a change here as well. Lopez is checked in. And that one misses. Now 8 seconds separating the two clocks. It's stolen by Jones. And it's Towns penetrating. It's hauled in by Los Angeles. Lopez has got his third rebound tonight.
He is just really almost playing for the other team. The shooting has just been poor.
And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot two.
And for a player with his size, Towns has always been very comfortable at the free throw line. And that's a good thing because he finds himself there quite a bit.
The Timberwolves have missed both free throws they've attempted tonight.
And as a team, excellent a season ago, about 80% when they got to the line.
No good on the second free throw. Outside Dan to stop the drought. He can't get that one. And that does it for the first quarter. Lakers on top, up 5. And we'll be back with you right after this. And a guy who seems to improve every season, Jimmy Butler. He spoke with us about one of his biggest surprises.
It's crazy because I never thought that anybody would be preparing to guard me night in and night out. But they do. I have to learn to cope with that and still find a way to be successful on both ends of the floor. And it's a learning curve for me also, but I'm figuring it out.
And hard to doubt the dedication of Jimmy Butler. He's found a way to overcome obstacles at each important point along the way.
You know, he's a self-made player. And if Butler can stay healthy, boy, the sky's the limit.
And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And taking a look at Los Angeles' performance here, what have they been doing or not doing?
I think they played great D and not giving up anything easy early on.
Yeah, closing down the lane, closing out on perimeter shooters. Interesting first quarter.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups, courtesy of Gatorade, as the second quarter gets going. And so in the game for the Timberwolves, down low, it's Jang and Towns. Jones is out there with Crawford, and it's Muhammad in at the 3 spot. And we've got an update here, so let's check in with David Aldridge reporting from the sideline.
Well, guys, analytics has taken over the NBA, but Minnesota coach and president of basketball operations Tom Thibodeau says it doesn't tell you everything. He said analytics can measure a lot of things, but it's very difficult to measure drive. The magic is in the work. Kevin?
And Tom Thibodeau makes a good point, D.A. Analytics is certainly helpful, but it doesn't capture everything. The Lakers in the lead. Here's Caldwell Pope. Tips it up. It's good on the putback. Lopez has got 5.
Oh, how about the deft touch right there, guys?
He just guided that ball back up and in. Just a fingertip touch on the ball. Now here's Crawford. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. The timely screen gave him a step, and he took it all the way. And, Kevin, your last couple years, you got to mentor some young players. Karl Anthony Towns comes to mind. How good do you think he can be?
Cat is the next. He is what I call the next of the next. Yes, he has the pedigree. He has the work ethic. He has the IQ. Most importantly, the desire. You know, when you talk about players being better, I always like to think about if players know history. He understands history. He's been here before. If you follow him through his high school years, he's always wanted to be an anchor. He's always wanted to be a very informative person. He looks for knowledge. He seeks a lot of knowledge. He wants to know what he's up against as far as history. Who am I chasing? What's his number? How many rebounds did he get? What did he do his rookie year? That's what's driving him.
Looking at who's out there now for the Timberwolves. Taj Gibson's checked in for Towns. Jimmy Butler comes in for Jamal Crawford. And it's Teague in for Jones. And he'll shoot free throws here. Clearly fouled on that shot that time. The whistle blowing. You talk about Karl Anthony Towns and his willingness to learn. You can't be great, I don't think, Kev, if you're not curious. And I always thought that was one of your best qualities. You were always curious.
Listen, I was super curious, and I always chased that curiosity. Not only that, I started to put the work ethic with that. If you don't put those things together, well, I would always tell him, be humble. Don't ever get to the point where your arrogance, starts to take over. Let your arrogance be on the court and what you're doing and how you're playing. Control your breathing. The young fella has a lot of good bones. I love his makeup. I love the fact that I had a year with him to teach him perspective, to teach him mentality, to teach him that you got to come in here and work on this every day, and the day that you don't, someone has advantage. He pushes himself. Karl Anthony Towns he's from the pedigree, man. He's one of the ones. I like to think that he's under the umbrella. He's one of my young brothers, man.
Now here's Muhammad. Gibson passes to Teague. Shot clock at 6.
And it doesn't even matter that he's surrounded on that possession. He's got the size to pull those boards down anyway.
And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2. Kevin, you accomplished everything individually as a teammate. Anything that you wish you would have done, any player that you wish you would have played with, any regret in that form that lingers with you in retirement?
No, nothing lingers. Obviously, you sit back and think about it. I would love to play with Cole for a year or, got to, team, at least play in the U.S.
You had a chance. Wasn't it like a rumor at one time?
It was.
Going to the Lakers?
My connection with Paul was just the opportunity when I waited. And it's what it was. But, Cole,
you wouldn't have traded the Paul Pierce thing for anything?
No, I wouldn't have, because Paul and I are true brothers. The connection, and then the team, Ray, my connection with Doe and then Doc and all of that. So I wouldn't have given that up for anything. But if I could have played with one person, probably would have been Cole. Summertime, I say USA because that's when you get to play with each other and all that, and you get to kind of beat up on everybody else and be USA or whatever. So that would have been super fun. But it's all good. Shout to Mama, you know what it is. But I have no regrets, man. I left everything on the floor. I enjoy watching the game more than ever now, dog. I'm not even going to front. I enjoy having my popcorn, my little ritual, my boys, and we sit back and watch the game and loving the game.
Yeah. Lopez, a screen on Butler. Shots good by Clarkson. Clarkson's got 4 points now in the quarter. And Kev, you think of the great ones. You, Kobe, Jordan, Timmy. Yeah, how about him? They worked harder than anybody else, Kevin.
And what you learn is that the similarity or the parallel that you all have is an inner animal that you never speak about. We're all a little off. We're all a little dark. But that's what pushes you through pain. That's what pushes you through tough moments. When someone says you can't, when someone says this is not possible, this is unreal, no one has ever done that, that's the moment you're looking for. The moment someone told Cole that he couldn't get over 50, 60, something Jordan couldn't do, he was driven in that. And if Phil wouldn't have stopped him, he probably would have reached 100 points.
He probably would have, yeah.
He did Will Chamberlain a favor. And that's just real. He was in that type of mode. We all share that passion. We all share that drive. And the ones that have that inner darkness, we all understand.
It's like a split personality, huh?
It's almost like another level.
Yeah. And one great play leads to another with Teague. His fast hands and fast feet, making things happen.
Ball kicks to Randall. Pass to Ingram. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. He's getting his first free throw attempt of the night right now.
And you'll take what he can give you from the free throw line. Looking at his numbers, just really not one of his strengths. Shooting in the low 60s last season.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
And the first one at the line is good.
Well, think about the high ceiling that this kid, Brandon Ingram, has. I mean, and with his long arms, I mean, he can reach the rafters.
Wiggins is checked in for the Timberwolves. So he picks up just 1 from the line that time.
And they're really getting more points at the free throw line here in the second quarter.
And Gibson kicks to Butler. Stolen by Clarkson. Out of bounds. Minnesota takes possession. And a look now at the 4 areas where shots can come from. The paint, mid-range, and shots from deep, all broken down for the Timberwolves.
You know, I like the strategy here, focusing on the high percentage looks, taking the majority of their shots inside, but their field goal percentage in the paint thus far hasn't been good.
The second effort, unable to get that one. And the Lakers will go the other way with it. They've held a 12-point lead earlier. Randall throws it down.
Anytime Randall gets near the rim, you better look out. It's about to be a brutal finish.
Outside T. There's the pass to Wiggins. The dish now to Butler. Stolen by Clarkson. Great to have you with us, KG, and Lightning experience. Come back and join us sometime, okay?
Thank you, man. I appreciate it anytime.
You were terrific. You were terrific.
You were great. K-Hart, you always made me look good, man. Since 95, man. We've been doing this a long time, my dude.
Great to see you.
Thank you, dog.
What a treat it is, Greg, to have KG with us. Always offers so much insight. Played the game for an amazing 21 seasons.
Yeah, you know, when he first entered the league, everybody was wowed by the athleticism. But what became more apparent really early on were the instincts for which he had for the game. And that's what he brings, I feel like, to the broadcast. And 2 for 1, that's what they'd like to get right now.
Yeah, this could come down to the correct play call. Let's see what they do right now.
Shot from 12. And it's Ingram missing. For Minnesota, they've gone 7 of 15 from the field here in the second quarter, just under 50% shooting. The kick outside to Butler. Now 8 seconds separating the 2 clocks. And it's Wiggins missing.
Something that's kept this game close is the fact that the rebound stats for both teams are almost identical.
There's a screen. Ingram kicks to Clarkson. Got it off in time and released it in time, but it's off the mark.
Yeah, and I love what Butler gives this team on the defensive end. And can guard a number of positions and does a good job with his help D.
Tie game in Minnesota. And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Kevin, thanks. Here with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy, you have come a long way in this league. When you look at your career now versus when you came in, how different is it?
Much different. I think on the floor, I'm supposed to do a lot more on both ends of the floor. And off the floor, I think it's still the same. People recognize my hair.
Well, it is a unique style. Jimmy, thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks for the great interview, David. And we'll be back for the third quarter of basketball following halftime.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
And welcome to halftime. Hey, what a fantastic time of the year. NBA season getting underway.
I'm excited. I am really excited. I am really, really excited right now.
It was a closely contested first quarter for Minnesota. They did give up a couple baskets more than they wanted to, and at the end of the period, were trailing by 5 points. They came alive in the second quarter, gained a lot of ground, and now we're looking at a tie game heading into the second half. And Kenny, what did you see out there from the Timberwolves?
They obviously came in wanting to push the action. And so far, so good. They're looking to get easy transition baskets because the other team is not getting back on defense.
Shaq, what was your takeaway on the Lakers?
What impressed me the most was the effort they put into the offensive glass. The second chance points really added up for them. Fighting through box outs, battling for position, they own the offensive boards.
And time now to send you back down to the floor with Kevin Harlan. We'll see you later.